What if I told you that renting isn't always throwing money away, and buying a house isn't always the golden ticket to wealth? That might sound shocking because for decades we've all been told the same story. Stop renting, start buying, build equity, and you'll be set for life. But in today's reality, with higher mortgage rates, rising property taxes, and unpredictable maintenance costs, things aren't so simple. So here's the big question. In 2025, with mortgage rates hovering around 6.5–7.5%, is it smarter to rent, or is owning still worth the financial commitment? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know the numbers behind the decision, you'll also see the hidden costs and benefits people often ignore. And I promise you, the answer might surprise you. At the heart of this debate is a simple comparison. Which drains more money out of your pocket, renting or owning? Renting seems easy to calculate. Whatever you pay your landlord every month is money gone forever. If your rent is $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year you'll never see again. Owning, though, is trickier. Your monthly mortgage payment isn't just one number. It's a mix of principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and don't forget the unpredictable costs like repairs. To truly compare renting versus owning, we need to focus on one key metric: the money you'll never get back. Let's walk through the major pieces that make up the true cost of owning a home. Financial expert Ben Felix originally popularized this framework with what he called the 5% rule. I'm going to expand on it and update it for today's much higher interest rate environment. There are 3 unavoidable costs of homeownership that renters don't deal with. 1. Property taxes, maintenance, and upkeep. The cost of capital, your mortgage plus lost investment returns. Property taxes are the government's annual bill for the privilege of owning real estate. In the US, the average property tax rate is about 1.1% of the home's value. So if you own a $500,000 house, that's roughly $5,500 a year in property taxes. This isn't money that builds equity. It's gone forever. Next, maintenance. Experts recommend budgeting 1–2% of your home's value every year for repairs and upkeep. Roof repairs, HVAC replacement, plumbing issues. These things don't wait until it's convenient. For our $500,000 example, even being conservative at 1% means $5,000 per year. Again, money you won't get back. Now let's talk about the sneaky, often underestimated expense of homeownership: maintenance. When you rent, your landlord gets the call when the water heater bursts at 2 a.m., the roof leaks during a storm, or the HVAC system dies in the middle of a heat wave. For renters, those headaches are usually someone else's problem. But when you own, it's all on you. The general rule of thumb is that homeowners should budget 1% to 3% of the home AS value every single year for maintenance and repairs. So if you own a $400,000 home, and let's be real, many homeowners don't set this money aside. They think, oh, I'll deal with repairs when they come up. But when they do, they often show up in bunches. Imagine this: the water heater goes out. Let's be brutally honest here. Renting often gets a bad reputation. People love to say, renting is just paying someone else's mortgage, or you're throwing money away when you rent. But in 2025, that narrative doesn't always hold up. In fact, there are plenty of scenarios. In today's job market, people switch careers, cities, even industries far more often than previous generations. You might get a remote job opportunity across the country, or you might decide you want to live closer to family. When you rent, moving is simple. Finish your lease, pack your bags, and go. But when you own, you've got to deal with selling your home, closing costs, realtor fees, and sometimes even taking a loss if the market dips at the wrong time. Here's another win for renters: lower upfront costs. Instead of locking up $60,000 or $80,000 in a down payment, renters keep their cash liquid. That money can be invested in stocks, retirement accounts, or even a side business. Over time, those investments can compound into serious wealth. And let's not forget lifestyle perks. Many renters live in apartments or condos where maintenance, landscaping, and even some utilities are included. Some rental communities come with gyms, pools, or co-working spaces, amenities that would cost a fortune to replicate in a single-family home. Finally, renting often provides peace of mind. No unexpected roof replacements, no massive property tax hikes, no $10,000 HVAC emergencies. For people who value predictability in their monthly budget, renting can actually feel like the smarter, safer move. So while homeownership has its upsides, don't let anyone convince you that renting is automatically a waste of money. Sometimes renting is the move that keeps you financially nimble and emotionally stress-free. Now before you go running off to break your home buying dreams, let's pump the brakes. Remember that 8.71% rule we talked about earlier? While it's a powerful tool for understanding costs, it's not perfect. Like any rule of thumb, it has flaws. For one, it assumes averages, and averages don't always apply to individual situations. If you live in a city like San Francisco, New York, or Austin, the cost of renting can far exceed the 8.71% ownership benchmark. In those cases, owning might actually be cheaper month to month, especially if you lock in a mortgage rate before further increases. Another flaw, equity growth. The rule focuses on costs, but doesn't fully factor in appreciation. Real estate markets historically rise in value over the long term, even if they experience short-term dips. A home bought for $300,000 today could be worth $500,000 in 20 years, and that equity belongs to you. Renters don't get that benefit. And then there's the psychological factor. Rules like 8.71% treat housing purely as a financial decision. But housing isn't just numbers, it's where you live your life. Maybe you're willing to spend more for stability, pride of ownership, and the ability to customize your space. That's something renters rarely enjoy. Lastly, the rule doesn't capture market timing. If you buy when mortgage rates are high, but refinance later when they drop, your long-term costs might end up much lower than the rule suggests. So while the 8.71% rule is a great starting point, it's not the final answer. It's a flashlight, not a crystal ball. All right, now let's flip the coin. We've talked about the downsides of owning, but let's be clear. There are some undeniable advantages to buying a home, even in 2025. First and foremost, equity. When you own, part of every mortgage payment builds ownership in the property. Over time, this acts as a form of forced savings. Renters might invest the difference, but let's be honest, many don't. For homeowners, paying down a mortgage is like building wealth on autopilot. Then there's appreciation. While housing markets can be unpredictable in the short term, real estate in the US has historically appreciated over decades. Your home isn't just shelter. It can also be an asset that grows in value. Another big pro, stability. Rent can increase every year. Landlords can sell properties or decide not to renew leases. But when you own with a fixed-rate mortgage, your monthly payment stays predictable for decades. That kind of stability provides peace of mind, especially for families planning their long-term future. Homeownership also brings control and freedom. Want to remodel the kitchen, paint the walls, or build a backyard deck? As a renter, you're at the mercy of your landlord's approval. As an owner, the space is yours to personalize. That freedom can greatly improve your quality of life. Finally, there are tax advantages. Mortgage interest deductions and property tax deductions can lower your taxable income. While these perks vary depending on your state and income bracket, they still make owning financially attractive for many. We've covered why renting can sometimes win, but let's spell out the pros clearly, because too often, renting gets framed as the lesser choice. First up, low financial commitment. Renting doesn't require a massive down payment, closing costs, or thousands in property taxes. You typically just need first month's rent, a security deposit, and maybe some moving expenses. That's it. For young professionals or families who don't have $60,000 lying around for a down payment, renting keeps the barrier to entry low. Second, predictable expenses. Sure, rent can increase at the end of a lease, but during that lease, you know exactly what you owe each month. Compare that to homeownership, where a busted water line or roof repair can blindside you with a 5-figure bill. Third, mobility. Renting makes it easy to pivot. Want to change neighborhoods, cities, or even states? Renting keeps you light on your feet. You're not tied down by a 30-year mortgage or dependent on a strong housing market to sell your property quickly. Fourth, access to amenities. Many renters enjoy things homeowners pay extra for: gyms, pools, dog parks, or even concierge services. Buying a home with these same features? That could easily tack on tens of thousands of dollars. And finally, peace of mind. The responsibility of repairs, maintenance, and taxes falls on the landlord, not you. For many renters, that simplicity and freedom is worth far more than the so-called equity they'd be building in a home. So let's be clear. Renting is not throwing money away. Renting is paying for flexibility, simplicity, and the freedom to prioritize your cash flow the way you want. So after breaking it all down, property taxes, maintenance costs, mortgages, the 8.71% rule, and the pros and cons of both sides. What's the real takeaway? It's this: there is no one-size-fits-all answer. Buying a home isn't automatically the smart move, and renting isn't automatically wasting money. In 2025, the right choice depends on your personal goals, your finances, and your lifestyle. If you crave stability, want to build equity over decades, and are ready to handle ongoing maintenance and taxes, homeownership might be right for you. It can be a solid long-term investment, not just financially, but emotionally too. But if you value flexibility, want to keep your money working in investments, and prefer the simplicity of calling your landlord instead of fixing problems yourself, renting may be the smarter choice. The key is running the numbers and being brutally honest with yourself. Don't buy a house just because society says you should. Don't rent just because you're afraid of commitment. Look at your budget, consider your career plans, think about your lifestyle goals, and then choose the path that truly fits you. So here's my challenge to you. Don't let outdated advice or peer pressure dictate one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. Whether you rent or buy, make the choice intentionally. Do the math, weigh the trade-offs, and decide based on your goals, not someone else's dream. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Are you team rent or team buy in 2025? And why? Your story might help someone else wrestling with the same decision. And if this breakdown gave you clarity, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe for more financial deep dives, and share this video with a friend who's debating the same question. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about houses. It's about freedom, security, and building the life you actually want. So, are you going to rent or are you going to buy? The answer is yours, and the time to decide is now.